The Cleveland Guardians hosted the Kansas City Royals this weekend, and they came into the matchup winning 5 in a row. Could it be 6?
With playoffs just a week away, many starters are watching from the bench. We'll tell you how the next generation of the NBA fared.
And can the Columbus Blue Jackets keep their playoff hopes alive Sunday against the Capitals? Find out more as Sports Corner comes your way right now. From the Franklin Hall studio on the campus of Kent State University, this is Sports Corner. Alongside Liv Sharp, I'm Matt Carali.
And Matt, we start with some big news tonight regarding Kent State football.
Yes, we do. On Friday, Kent State University put out a statement announcing its decision to fire head football coach Kenny Burns. This comes after his tenure that saw him go 1-23 over 2 years during his time at Kent State. This marks only the 5th time in the school's history they had a winless season, that being this past year in 2024 when they finished 0-12. Burns was placed on administrative leave last month but did not provide details as to why. Offensive coordinator Mark Carney will serve as head coach until the end of the 2025 season when the search for a new head coach begins in 2026.
The Kent State women's golf team wrapped up their final match on Sunday with the 3rd round of the Therese Hessen Buckeye Invitational at the Ohio State Golf Club. The Flashes put up their best round of the weekend with a 1 over par of 289. The team finished in 3rd with a total of 16 over par. Veronica Kedranova led the Flashes with a 2nd place finish, posting a 5 under par after finishing 2 under par 70 in the 3rd round. Kedranova finished as just one of 4 players to record 54 holes under par. The Flashes will get some rest before they head to the MAC Championship on April 20th in Muncie, Indiana.
The Kent State softball team played a doubleheader against Central Michigan on Saturday. Their first game was a close one, final score of 4-3. Kent State took the lead early before the Chippewas would score 3 straight. Kent State was able to tie it up in the score in the 6th until Central Michigan hit back-to-back doubles. In Game 2, Kent State wouldn't fare as well. The Flashes would start strong with the run, but after a 2-run homer from the Chippewas, the Flashes would struggle to keep up. Central Michigan put up 10 runs after 4 innings, and after just 5, Kent State fell to Central Michigan 12-4 due to the run rule. Kent State will head to Buffalo tomorrow for a doubleheader, with first pitch scheduled for 1 o'clock.
The Golden Flashes faced off against the Miami Redhawks on the diamond yesterday. Miami opened the game with a pair of runs in each of the first 2 innings to take the lead early. Hayden Yasick would get on the board with an RBI double in the top of the 3rd. Yasick now leads the MAC in doubles this season with 20. Yasick was also named MAC Player of the Week today after the Flashes game against Ohio State University, going 2-4 on the day with 3 runs and 3 runs driven in. Miami would respond to Yasick with a run of the 4th and rack up 4 runs in the 5th inning, extending their lead to 6. The Flashes would come up short, losing 9-7 in Miami. The Flashes will stay at Schoonover for the next 10 games, starting on Thursday night at 6 against Ohio University.
All right, well, this is a team that has really gotten a lot of steam in terms of the fact that they have been rattling off some wins in a row. 12 straight. It's the 2nd longest winning streak in the country before it was snapped on Friday.
Absolutely, and I mean, you just got to really love what you're seeing from them, and those losses to Miami truly are nothing to scoff at. They are the 2nd best team in the MAC. 1 out of 3 of that isn't necessarily what you wanted to see, but the fact that they stole 1 at all is really good. I think right now the Flashes need to focus on building momentum towards that really big Ball State series that's coming at the start of May. They've got a couple of odd games here and there. I think OU is going to be a really good chance for them to build up some confidence as they head towards that May stretch.
And especially with the fact that Ohio isn't a very good team. They're more in the bottom of the standings. They're at home. There'll be a great time to get yourself back on track against a tough series down in Oxford. But with that streak, it started March 25th at home against Case Western Reserve. Solid D3 team. They were 23rd in the D3 rankings at the time. 5-game homestand, Toledo, Mercyhurst, Baldwin Wallace, they went 5-0. Swept Central Michigan on the road, a solid MAC school, then beat Ohio State and Columbus on the road. It's nothing to scoff at. So,
it truly isn't.
And a big reason why, and we were talking about it, upstairs before the show, it's due to their 3rd baseman at Kent State and Hayden Yasick.
I mean, he's just spectacular. I mean, you look at him, like we said, leads the MAC in doubles. He's really had some excellent production, but I guess my concern is, can he continue to do this consistently? We're starting to get into the nitty-gritty of the season. Teams are starting to find their way, and they're starting to realize what players are going to be their power hitters. He's 2nd in that lineup, but do you think that he can continue to have this sort of production as we head down into the really strong part of the season?
I would find it that he can.
Okay.
It's just going to be very tough to do so because he's getting hot early.
Yeah.
Because the numbers are outstanding. 355 average, 8
Yep.
home runs, 20 RBIs. He's one of the top third basemen in college baseball. So it's just a matter of consistency. As long as he's doing what he should be doing each and every day when he goes into the facility, the cage, the field, it should be that, you should see that from him day in and day out. You can do really anything that you ask of him in terms of hitting for power, hitting for base hits.
Yeah.
He can steal very well.
He really can.
And injuries held him back last year, and if it wasn't for that, we could be seeing him playing for a major league organization and playing in the minors. So it's just going to be a matter of can he keep that consistency. I would say as we sit here right now, yes, because Kent State has put themselves in a solid position where they're, I believe, right now second in the MAC standings, and it's going to be just trying to riding that out, taking on and being competitive against those top schools that they'll face, and they'll go from there.
And I truly think that Kent would be ranked higher in the MAC right now had they had more MAC games. We saw a really large non-con sort of schedule to start things. And even now, after that series with Ohio, they have a couple more odd non-con games, but certainly we're getting into the fun part of the Kent State baseball season.
Yes, we are.
Well, speaking of baseball, in a battle between the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago White Sox, find out who won the series and much, much more after this.
What's up, NFL fans? Quarterback Josh Dobbs here. You may know me as the Pastronaut.
This is my time. I'm on the rise. Can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time.
I've always loved space and football. Growing up, some people told me I had to choose. But here's the deal. You can be great at more than one thing, and getting involved in STEM opens up your world to a universe of opportunities in life. Space isn't just for the astronauts.
It's for all of us. It's not just for engineers like myself.
It's for teachers,
students,
designers,
Mechanics,
scientists,
And millions of football fans across the world.
3, 2, 1. Watch out. Here I come. This is my time. I'm on the rise. Can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time.
Get inspired and get involved today. There are STEM programs and science centers available in your community, so be sure to check out spaceforall.us to learn more and get started.
This is my time.
Welcome back. Yesterday was the conclusion of the 89th Masters, and Rory McIlroy emerged victorious, and his long wait for a career Grand Slam has finally ended. The 35-year-old from Northern Ireland overcame a rough start to the tournament, but McIlroy defeated Justin Rose in the first hole of a sudden death playoff to win the green jacket and become the 6th golfer in history to complete a career Grand Slam. McIlroy joins Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods as the only golfers to win 4 major championships.
Look, it's a dream come true. I've dreamt about that moment for as long as I can remember. I mentioned it out in the prize ceremony, but there were points in my career where I didn't know if I would have this nice garment over my shoulders, but I didn't make it easy today. I certainly didn't make it easy. I was nervous. It was one of the toughest days I've ever had on the golf course.
Now, for folks who may not be as familiar, what does this mean, and why does this matter that Rory has finally claimed this victory at the Masters?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I'll talk into this later in the show a little bit. This is one of the best sports moments of the decade. I think we'll look back on this and really call this memorable moment. Look, Rory was a player coming in. He was a real favorite. But you had Scotty Scheffler, who was the defending champ and world #1 there as well. You had Bryson DeChambeau. Later in the weekend, he was climbing up the leaderboard. People thought he would take it. But for Rory, in particular, he won his first 3 majors. He kind of broke on in 09, 10, around that time. Won the first 3 majors in 2014. And he seemed destined to just win the green jacket, go on. He hasn't won it in 11 years after that. So the fact that he also had the chance in 2011, he had a really big lead, and he ended up collapsing. But he was a young guy, people knew he would get back. But he was known for not winning the big one in terms of the Masters tournament. And he finally gets his moment in the sun, or sunset, literally, if you want to talk about him sinking that putt as the sun was going down in Augusta. But also the fact it was a real roller coaster of a day for him. He had an iron shot on 13 that went in the water, lost him the round. An incredible shot on 15 going over the water to get him back to sole possession of the lead. And on 18 going in the sand off the tee, missing the par putt that would have won it. You get a playoff, and then he just locked in the rest of the way. This just means that it's one of the more emotional victories you'll probably see in sports in recent memory. And it was really awesome to see someone overcome not just a topsy-turvy day in terms of an outing on the golf course, but also the fact that you saw the weight lifted off of someone's shoulders, and he can finally erase the narrative that he can't win the big one.
I do have to agree with you that it will be a top 10 moment, but I easily think that the picture of the year is going to be him on his knees, staring up at the heavens after he finally claimed that jacket.
Yeah, and again, we'll talk more about that later in the show.
Well, moving from the course to the Diamond, the Guardians faced off against the Royals last night. Last game of the series. Let's get to the highlights. Well, the Guardians looking to sweep the Royals. Let's see how they do. Daniel Schneemann up to bat. He shoots out a double to left field. John Kenzie Noel gets sent home. The throw from Bobby Witt Jr. Whoa, that one is way off base. Noel scores, and Schneemann slides safely into home, and that is a Little League home run, otherwise known as a in-the-park home run, as the Guardians take a 2-0 lead. Well, sadly for the Guards, their scoring ends there, and good for the Royals. Witt redeems himself. Just kidding! Schneemann gets the last laugh as he lays out to snag the ball. That's the first out and top of the 4th. Runners on first, Ben Lively on the bump, and Salvador Perez, his 14th year in the majors, takes a pitch over the plate and sends it deep center field for a 2-run homer. We are all tied up at 2. Now with 2 runners in scoring position, Mikel Garcia lines one out to left field. He doubles, and that scores both Freddie Furman and Kyle Isbell. His 3rd hit of the game could not have come at a better time, and it is the last chance for the land. They have a runner on first, but Kyle Manzardo goes down swinging, and the Royals stop the Guardians in their tracks, ending the 5-game win streak by a final of 4-2.
Good evening, Portage County. I'm Lexi Blatnick, and I'm here to take you around the Diamond and the MLB. And we're kicking things off on the south side of Chicago. It's the Battle of the Sox, the white and red that is. Garrett Crochet is here to start us out, and he's had himself a day. Crochet now has it's the top of the 6th, and Trevor Story is at the plate. Story hits it deep to right field. Is it going yard? And Chicago can't make the play. Story doubles, and Jose Abreu and Alex Bregman score. Boston strikes first. Score is 2-0. Crochet gives a walk to the White Sox, and that's the first time the White Sox have reached a base. Can they make something out of it? No, they can't. Crochet sends Miguel Vargas back to the dugout. Few innings after, Crochet is looking to continue his hitter, and Chase Maydroth gets his first hit. Crashaw's no-no comes to an end in the 8th. And a new pitcher is on the mound. 2 runners are in scoring position. Matt Face knocks one to right field, and Maydroth scores. Boston 2, Chicago 1. Can the White Sox rally? Vargas pops the ball to left field, and Duran makes the catch. Final score is 3-1.
Well, the Cubs are taking on the Dodgers. We'll start bottom of the 2nd. Runners on the corners for Kike Hernandez facing right-hander Colin Ray. And on the 0-1, Hernandez lines one to left for a base hit. That will score Michael Conforto. Dodgers strike first at home. It's 1-0. Top of the 3rd, Pete Crow Armstrong off of Tyler Glasnow sends one down the line. It will go off the pole for a homer. His first stinger of the year. The LA native ties it at 1 apiece. We'll fast forward to the top of the 6th. Michael Busch The former Dodger hits his third-round tripper of the year, and the Cubs lead for the first time on Sunday Night Baseball, 2-1 Chicago. Bottom of the inning, Dodgers looking to strike. Max Muncy flies one out to right. It's well hit, but Kyle Tucker makes the catch on the track. That will score Conforto from third, and we are all even at 2. Top of the 7th. Is it too early to give him the nickname treatment? Pete Carl Armstrong, call him PCA? Well, he's definitely making his case with that homer. His second round tripper of the night, it is 3-2 Cubs. And that one, on the top of the 8th, same score. Nico Horner hits one that traps in front of Teoscar Hernandez. That will score Tucker, throw to third. Safe. Gage Workman beats that throw out. It's 4-2 Cubs. And in the 9th, Ryan Presley will slam the door against Shohei Ohtani with that ground out. You can fly the W in Hollywood. Cubs win 4-2.
Final game of an AL West showdown. We've got the Rangers and the Mariners. Cal Raleigh, fresh off of a new extension, shows Seattle he is worth the moolah. He homers in his 3rd straight game. And Nathan Eovaldi has the Rangers in a little bit of a pit to start things off here. But the Rangers get one back very quickly. Top 2, Dustin Harris with a hard hit ball out to center field. He's had an exceptionally hot start. That is his 2nd homer in 10 at-bats. But the Rangers still down 1. Now we have bases loaded. You know what comes next. Oh, well, not quite. Randy Arozarena, he's hit, and that walk will draw in a run. Looks a little familiar, doesn't it, Guards fans? Well, the Mariners extend their lead to 3-1. Hayden Milner steps in to stop the bleeding, and we head to top 9. But Andre Munoz on for the save, and he strikes out Josh Young to put this one in the book. Seattle sweeps the Rangers and takes this game by a final of 3-1.
Blue Jays are taking on the Orioles out in Baltimore, and it's a battle of AL East foes, as this is a team for Baltimore that really trying to make strides in terms of a postseason appearance. They've had 2 years where they haven't really managed to get over that hump. 2 years of excitement in Baltimore and back-to-back first-round exits. Alejandro Kirk with the homer. This game is tied at 1. Ryan Mountcastle with the line drive to left. They had a new wall out there in Baltimore. He hits the home run. It's 2-1 Orioles. This game was a real scoring affair. As for Adley Rutschman, this one's grounded to the right side. They go home with the throw, and beating it out is Gunnar Henderson. Yeah, look at him get excited. In the 8th, like we mentioned, this would be a shootout. It's 6-5. Bo Bichette with the base hit. That scores the tying run. This game would go to extras. Ryan Straw grounding one down the line. It's to stay fair. Throw across is far too late. Toronto leads it now 7-6. Andres Jimenez, old friend of the program, as he was a local product here in Cleveland for a little bit. But in the bottom of the 10th, Ramon Laureano will strike out looking. Blue Jays win it 7-6. That's a former Oriole blowing a kiss to his old squad.
And we're taking things down to the Bronx here at Yankee Stadium. It's a rubber match to decide the series winners. It's the bottom of the 1st, and Paul Goldschmidt singles to right field, and Aaron Judge makes the first score of the game. JC Escara doubles to right field. Jason Dominguez makes the run to home plate, and Escara RBI'd for the first time this year. 2-0 New York. And Ben Rice single to left field, which allows Escara to score. And Rice earns another RBI alongside Escara. Yanks are up 3-0. Can they continue it? Goldschmidt hits it high to right field. Luis Matos catches the ball, and it looks like he can't. And he does a little somersault while catching the ball. And moving to the top of the 4th, Jung-Hoo Lee goes yard with a 406-foot homer, and San Fran is now on the board. Score is 3-1, still Yankees. We see Lee again. Can he pull the repeat? He smashes it to right field, and it is gone. This is Lee's 2nd homer of the night, and Giants are up by 1. And Leiter is up to bat. He hits one to shallow to center field. An error occurs. Schmidt scores, and Giants are up 5-3. Now, it's the Yankees are up to score. Aaron Judge is here, and he strikes out, and that is ball game. Final score, 5-4.
All right, Lexi, so going back to the Guardians now, their star closer, Emmanuel Clase, hasn't really been his dominant self in terms of last year and the year before. Should fans and the team be concerned, or will this kind of pass as just an April thing? He'll get back on track.
I think it shall pass. I think there's a couple things to consider, and I think the one big thing is he had a little bit of an ego. And it's kind of warranted. He was a really good closer, and then the Guards were making their World Series run, and I think just losing to the Yankees knocked him down a peg, and I think he hasn't quite found his footing yet. I think he just has to shake off the rust. I think there's no reason to get all antsy about it. Let him work out his stuff. Maybe the organization should run another closer. Kate Smith maybe, not too sure. And then we'll go from there, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
You're just saying
yeah.
to breathe.
We're
Everyone's
just gonna
breathe.
take a second. This is a very
You're
young
concerned about
baby,
it.
early season.
Yeah.
There should be no rash decisions. I've seen the people on X, cut Class A or get rid of him
That is
as long as
crazy.
I've seen it so much. They're saying get
Wow.
rid of him now while he still has value before he shoots down to maybe you can get a weird reliever.
It's what, April 14th?
It is April 14th, and people they're already saying just get rid of
Season
Class
isn't even
A.
a month away.
Really, and they're already saying get rid of him.
It's okay.
He'll
come back.
I think that Guardians fans tend to overreact sometimes, and I definitely see a lot of it with the bullpen because, let's face it, the bullpen right now for the Guardians, they are grossly struggling, but people neglect to realize that 4 of their really strong arms are right now injured.
I will say, though, even though they're young, they do have promise.
They do.
It's a solid bunch.
It is.
And I really don't think it's worth kind of getting all up in arms about.
No.
I think there are bigger fish to fry in that regard, but, Kate Smith, Tim Herron, Hunter Gaddis?
Hunter Gaddis. See, I wouldn't mind them, maybe pushing Class A to be a 7-8 guy and trying out some other new closer. I don't think that would be the worst thing in the world.
I think there would have to be a lot more of these nightmare scenarios for Emmanuel Clase, arguably until June.
Yeah.
In order for if this is
Yeah.
really affecting Cleveland, if they're losing games in the ninth, that they should be if
Right.
a last year Clase, if this were to happen, would be able to close out. That'd be fine. But let's shift gear because I know you wanted to talk about something general
Yes.
across Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. Well, it was just announced today that Aaron Judge was named as Captain America, as they're joking him, for the Team USA for the World Baseball Classic. So who else do you guys predict will have a spot on that team? Now, I know we were kind of spitballing up in the newsroom trying to figure out, okay, well, what players are A, American, and B, are, can actually be a part of this. Lexi, do you have a few?
I do. I have Mike Trout.
Yep.
Mookie Betts, if he can make the comeback. I know he was sick. He lost 50 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
If he can
He ate some
get
bad
there.
food in Tokyo.
And Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
Those are my top 3.
I think those are some good picks.
Thank
I
you.
was looking through the alumni roster. I feel like we gotta have Paul Skeens up in there,
Yeah.
right? He's gotta be definitely a top pick, as he is one of the best aces, I guess, in Major League Baseball. Hot take, I guess. But I definitely think that we could see Paul Skeens making the roster next year. Do you have any picks?
I have a hot take.
Okay.
I have this, I have this feeling, talking with sources. All I'm saying is, because this is a player that I wouldn't have thought of,
Flip this now, folks.
don't be surprised if the starting left fielder for Team USA
No.
is Stephen Kwan.
Really?
He's from California.
He is.
So look, the fact that he
Yeah.
had that insane 2024, everyone talks about him being a Gold Glove. Now I can just say, since we're out of Northeast Ohio, the fact that we're all up here going rah-rah for the local team,
Yeah.
that's not what all I'm saying is, he's kind of going under the radar, but this team could be stacked. In
Good
terms
to
of
know.
you have Judge, you can have a lot of heavy hitters in terms of that
Yeah.
lineup, even though the game is growing internationally,
It is.
which is great for the game.
I think a back-to-back
But
win
the
in
United
the
States-
in the World Classic isn't too far off, shall we say?
Yeah, they would be their
anyone would
second in the last
complain.
3,
No,
and it would
absolutely
be, Japan was really well done.
Japan was really good,
in
but I
terms of
mean,
23.
you got Shohei, you got Yoshinobu. You do there are some threats there as well from Mexico. We know that Mexico definitely gave U.S. a run for their money during the last tournament, but I wouldn't say it's too far out of the range personally.
Yeah.
Especially if we start to maybe look outside of our large bubble of our superheroes, your Captain Americas, and go for some little guys. Pull somebody off the Diamondbacks, pull somebody off the Mariners. Let's have fun. It doesn't always have to be the superstars, right?
Right. Let someone from a small market team.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Gunnar
thank you, Lexi.
Henderson, you are in the USA. You are on Team USA. Anyways, the Columbus Blue Jackets are currently sitting on the playoff bubble. Find out what could improve their chances as Sportscorner goes on ice when we come back.
maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Illicit fentanyl is the deadliest drug threat that our nation has ever experienced. We lost Leo when he was only 19, killed by fentanyl he didn't even know he was taking. He was my heart, my son.
My grandson. I wish you could have met him. Such a beautiful young man. Kind, smart, funny, sweet, a great kid.
Go to ladrfoundation.org to join us in the fight against fentanyl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you help me?
What you got there?
Will you help my mom?
Hey, crew, I'll give the first move to anyone who signs up to be an organ donor. How do you do it?
Easy. Just go to organdonor.go.
More donors means more hope. Sign up at organdonor.
NHL playoffs start this weekend, and every team has their eye on the Stanley Cup. Let's head down to Washington, D.C. at Capital One Arena. Well, the Columbus Blue Jackets still holding on to postseason dreams, but they can't fall to the Capitals now. Alex Ovechkin back in the lineup, and spoiler alert, he makes himself known pretty early. Swift pass from Dylan Strome, and Ovi scores off of one knee to put the Caps up 1-0 in the first. Later in the first, Zach Werenski with the long snapshot. He nets a goal off of the pass from Ivan Provorov, knotted at one. Barely at the blue line for that one, but Caps looking to head back to their O-zone, but Adam Fantilli picks his pocket and scores off the snapshot. Charlie Lindgren barely had time to prep for that shot. Now we head to the third. Caps taking their time, looking like Weeble Wobbles, and Fantilli capitalizes that. Kent Johnson drops it back, and the wrister from Mo puts the Jackets up 3-1. Columbus will tack on one more and extend their winning streak to 4 straight games, but they'll still need a little help from their friends to make it to the playoffs.
Thank goodness hockey is an indoor sport because it's getting warmer by the day. I'm Michael Nean, and I say we put our gloves and jacket back on as Sportscorner goes on ice right before the playoffs. Starting things off with the Sabres taking on the Lightnings. Hey, the division is not too far away. Brandon Hagel with a pass to Jake Gensel nets his 39th goal of the season, put the Bolts up 1-0. We'd have to go to later with 30 seconds left in the first period. Tage Thompson's pass goes to Yuri Kulik, who nets it right in, tie things up at once apiece. And about 20 seconds later, basically off the draw, Connor Clifton with a nice goal. Look at Jack Quinn. He beat 3 guys just to get through. Let's go to the second period. And let me tell you, folks, it would be a bit of a barn burner because Ryan McDonough scores. Now take a look at this. Nikita Kucherov, he got his own rebound, goes off the post to put the Bolts up 3-2. To add salt to the wound, Emil Lilleberg nets his first NHL goal. James Reimer not having a good period right now. Tampa had 4 goals in the second period. Going to the third, it's basically garbage time at this point on a 2-man advantage. Alex Tuck, he brings the Sabres within 4 goals, and the icing on the cake with about 90 seconds left. Sam Lafferty puts it in, but it didn't really matter too much. The Lightning win 7-4. Matt, take it away. I really want to know what's up next.
3 reallys. Well, you'll get your answer. Leafs and Hurricanes out in North Carolina. Late first period, Brandon Carlos shot is blocked. It's out to Morgan Riley. Deflection upon his Holmberg for the goal. It's 1-0 Toronto through 1. Take a look at this again. It goes off the goalie and then out to the waiting stick of Holmberg. In the second, same score, Riley out to Austin Matthews, and it goes back to Riley for the goal, or I beg your pardon, that was Matthews, and it's 2-0 Toronto. Taking another look at it, just great passing there from the Leafs. Same score, third period. Simon Benoit to Max Domi. And William Nylander will tip it in. It looked as though that Domi scored it off the point. You could see Nylander point to him like, yeah, that was you, right? Well, check this out. You see it a little bit of the stick. Got in there. It's 3-0 Toronto and rally. Canes are on the power play, and they will execute. Sebastian Aho puts it in. It's 3-1 Leafs. But Toronto, they're going to try and close this one out as you see that great puck movement there from Carolina. John Tavares will put that one in, and that'll ice it, pun intended. Leafs win 4-1. Joseph Woll, their goalkeeper, recorded 25 saves, and the Leafs get that much closer to clinching the Atlantic Division.
All right, let's take things over to Vancouver as the Wild take on the Canucks. Hey, those wild card spots in the Western Conference definitely not locked up yet. Marcus Pettersson netting the first goal of the game to put the Canucks up 1-0. This one was not much of a barn burn, actually. It would be pretty close. Spoiler alert. In the second period, a Canucks power play. Jake DeBrusk with a tip-in from a Nils Hoglander shot on goalie just beat Philip Gustafsson stick side. Going to the third period, Matt Boldy a spin shot try on a rebound. Brock Faber gets the Wild on the board. They're still down at 2-1. Let's go later into the third period. Oh, Canucks getting a little careless with the puck. Ryan Hartman, a centering pass to Marcus Foligno, tied things up at 2 apiece. This game would eventually go into overtime. What happens in overtime, you might ask? Well, the Wild, it's Kirill Kaprizov. The nice pass. Matsu Zuccarello was completely alone. He nets the game-winning goal in overtime. The Wild win 3-2. They take the first Wild over the St. Louis Blues with only 2 games remaining. Will they remain? It depends. They're going to have to play the Jets if they don't get that 6th spot.
That's a tough draw if they were to get Winnipeg.
Well, we're gonna flash all the way forward to the Stanley Cup. I want to know, gentlemen, what are your Stanley Cup predictions? Michael, we'll start with you.
I think I'm going to go with Knights in the West, out east.
Okay.
I'm going with the Lightning. I mean, the Knights, they only won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I really, really love Bruce Cassidy coach teams. They're really tough. I think that team is built to win a cup. I don't really see any of the other teams winning it. I was going to pick the Stars, but they're on a bit of a 5-game skid right now. I just don't think they're playing very well going into the playoffs. You really need to have some consistency as you go into April and into May. And if you want to get to June, you really got to play your best hockey at the end of the season. Now, as for the Lightning, I think they've done a really good job replacing Steven Stamkos with Jake Gensel. He's really replaced his production, but I mean, the team just looks so much better than they have the last 2 other years. I felt that the team was relatively old, but they're a lot faster. And Andrei Vasilevsky, I think when healthy, he's the best goaltender in the league. I trust him more than any other guy in the playoffs, especially in elimination games. That guy is a brick wall. They don't call him the Great Wall of Vasilevsky for no reason. But Matt, what's your prediction?
For me, I also like the Lightning out of the East, but I don't see them winning at all. Out of the West, I like the Colorado Avalanche because of the fact that they're bringing a lot of that 22 team. That core is still there with Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, and Nikhil Makar. And they're led by that coach that won it for him in Jared Bednar. Fun fact, coached the Monsters in the Calder Cup win in 2016 here in Northeast Ohio. And I also think, because you talked about it, and you made a great point, I think this is why they're going to do it. That experience and the path that they have is really tough, because if things were to stay the same that they are now, they would face Dallas in the first round. Then, in all probability, they'll get the Winnipeg Jets, the President's Cup champions. I think if they get hot, they're going to beat them. They'll play Edmonton or Vegas, I think, of that conference final, and then Tampa Bay. So, like you mentioned, I don't think this is also just true in hockey. It's true in sports. The best team never wins the title. It's about the team that's at the hot at the right moment. And for some reason, I'm always drawn back to the Avs because of that experience, and I think it's their playoff path. It's just going to be tough. They'll be resilient, and then they'll go all the way. And the second Stanley Cup trophy will be hoisted in Denver.
All right, well, we've all kind of danced around it. We've all believed that the Lightning are going to get to the Stanley Cup finals. I think they're going to win it. You know what? I think the West is absolutely a dogfight. I think whatever poor team manages to claw their way out of the West is going to be so broken down that they are just, I mean, it's not going to be a sweep, but I definitely think that the Lightning are going to have the advantage having, I guess, an easier version, an easier journey to the finals, because the West is insane. Stars, Avs, everyone is just, any series is not going to be easy. I think that's something that we kind of take for granted, because in the NBA, there are what you would call easy series, as well as in the MLB, there are easy series. There are no easy series when it comes to the NHL playoffs. Everyone is going to fight tooth and nail every single time, but I truthfully think the Lightning are going to be able to get it done this time.
All right, well, thank you, Michael. Appreciate it as always, sir.
No problem.
Well, in the last day of the NBA season with playoff stakes on the line Sunday, the Clippers took on the Warriors in a wild showdown. We'll give you the highlights and more.
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Go.
You feel good about that?
No. I'm looking at it right.
And yellow today, feel free to use orange, feel free to use green, feel free whatever you want to do. These are what I have in my refrigerator.
Students, especially those that are in CCI fondly enough, are going to be visiting there quite often. But does their reward program
Happy draft day, ladies and gentlemen. In case you didn't know, today is the draft for the WNBA, and I'm here to break down some first round predictions. Some quick background, the first round of the W draft has 12 picks with the following rounds, each having 13. One final disclaimer, the draft started at 7:30, so we know several, if not all of these picks, but I wrote these at 6:30, so keep that in mind. Now for number one, the Dallas Wings. You're going to be surprised here. Crazy hot take, but I think it's going to be Paige Bueckers. I know, absolutely life-changing. Now, we've known for a while that Bueckers is the number one pick. It was solidified when the Wings secured that number one spot, and I truly believe that she will be a franchise-changing asset in the backcourt, especially when you pair her with a talent like Arike Ogunbowale to mentor her. Well, for number two, we're heading international. The Seattle Storm, I believe they're set to make history drafting Dominique Malonga, a 19-year-old 6'6" center from France. Malonga will become the highest drafted international player due to her versatility. She can dunk and drive and has crazy ball skills for her height. For three, we're going for the Washington Mystics. This is the first of two back-to-back picks for the Mystics and the first of three in the first six. So who are they going to start with? Well, in my opinion, the most league-ready prospect other than Bueckers, Kiki Iriafen, a power forward from USC. Now, the Mystics don't really need a power forward, but her talent cannot be denied. She averaged 18 points, 8.4 rebounds in her senior season, and if she can develop a solid three ball, she will be very dangerous. Now, for the other back-to-back pick for the Mystics, my 3 and 4 predictions really could be swapped, as I see the Mystics taking Iriafen, but also Sonia Citron, a defensive powerhouse guard from Notre Dame. Not, in my opinion, the most league-ready talent, but she's got a really high basketball IQ. Nothing is better than a smart guard, and she had a stellar performance defending Juju Watkins. Now for number 5, the Golden State Valkyries with their first ever draft pick as the new expansion team. One of two things will happen here. The pick is either Anissa Morrow, a forward from LSU, or Justa Juchite from Lithuania. I would go with Morrow, although she is undersized. Her production is amazing. She led D1 in rebounding and double-doubles, but it is hard to say how that will translate to the pro level. The more sure pick is Juchite, but I think Morrow has a higher ceiling. Now for DC's last pick of the first round. If she's still there, they have to take Cheyenne Sellers, a guard from Maryland. Now, I know she spent some time rehabbing during her senior season, but she's a hometown kid with a lot of upside. She's a great size guard, and Sellers made a crazy leap from outside the arc, shooting 40.8% from 3. Now, I'm sure you're wondering where some other big names will go, so here's a quick roundup. Haley Van Lith and Georgia Moore are both headed to Chi-Town, with both probably sneaking into the first round. I talked about her a few weeks ago, but look out for mid-major Harvard star Harmony Turner. She will probably go in the second round to the Fever or the Atlanta Dream. Now, I want to let you guys know I went 4 for 6 on these picks, so I'm pretty proud of myself. But while the W season is ramping up, we have reached the end of the NBA regular season. For those final games, let's go back to Matt at the desk.
All right, thank you, Liv. I'm sure that WNBA draft is going to be just as exciting as time goes on with that. So the NBA playoffs are just around the corner, hard to believe, and every team has their eye on a playoff spot. Before we go around the association, we're going to take this short trip out to Rocket Arena in Cleveland for the regular season finale against the Pacers. Jared Allen starting his 82nd game of the year. He'll leave 2.5 minutes in with the 1 seed on lock. First quarter, Miles Turner lays it in with traffic, and a minute later, Ty Jerome on the offensive end with authority, slamming it down to tie the game. First quarter winding down, Ty Jerome launching this triple, and that would give the Cavs a 6-point lead at the end of the first. Second quarter, Cavs up 16. Craig Porter Jr. fades it away from mid-range. Jerome in the corner, you know it. Cavs up 66-41 at recess. And then second half, Jerome looking like Steph Curry. Cavs up 30. Jerome with the third quarter coming to a close. We'll dish it out to Amani Bates. Get some action. The Eastern Michigan product puts the Cavs up 18-3. In the fourth, Bates hits one from long range. Pacers, however, making it interesting. Quentin Jackson with the steal and slam. And then Jackson again. But this time, going inside. Reverse layup. Cuts into single digits. Now, Akron alum Enrique Freeman. We've called his name a couple times in this show in years past. He puts it in. Deficit is cut to 1. And with time winding down, Porter loses the ball. They go up ahead to Johnny Furphy on the slam. We go to overtime in the extra period. Jackson, no. The putback, yes. Pacers can win it now, but Tony Bradley for the win? No. We go to double overtime. But Ray J. Dennis, with his team up 4, will hit this closer to give the Pacers their regular season finale win in double overtime, 126-118.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maddox Miller. The NBA play-in is tomorrow, but we had one last day of regular season action, so let's go around the association. Starting out in Milwaukee, Bucks taking on the Pistons. Malik Beasley had some choice words about Giannis, but Kyle Kuzma would get things going for Milwaukee, putting up 10 in the first quarter, knocking down the 3. Speaking of Beasley, he knocked down this 3 to try and cut into Milwaukee's lead. It would be Pat Connaughton, and I hope you are ready to hear his name as he knocks in the 3 in the second. We had late second quarter, 19-point game. Andre Jackson Jr. with the jam as he takes us into the third quarter. It would be another Beasley 3 to start cutting into this Milwaukee lead, getting it well within single digits as he laces in another one. He'd scored 23 on the night, the former Buck. It would be Tolu Smith in his first ever NBA game getting the layup to go. 1-point game now here in the fourth as Marcus Sasser lines this one up to take a lead. Tied game here with 3 minutes left. Connaughton drives in, slams it down. He would have a massive game for Milwaukee, but here in the fourth, it would be Lindy Waters III hucking up a prayer and having it answered as he ties the game up. Milwaukee would have a chance to win it though. Connaughton gets it at half court, lets it fly, and no good. We head to overtime, another overtime game, 2-point game. Connaughton knocks down the 3. He had 43 points on the night, 131-125 now, so he gets the tough layup to capitalize on this 140-133 Milwaukee win.
It's the all-reserve game between the Boston Celtics and the Charlotte Hornets. Nary a starter to be seen. Peyton Pritchard pump fake drives and rattles it home. And Pritchard, he was the all-star of the game. He'll hit Sam Hauser, who nails a 3 in transition. He had 4 on the night. 4 threes. Truly excellent. Pritchard really is that Jason Tatum. He gets his own rebound and gets the fadeaway jumper. Celtics on the fast break. Pritchard lobs it up. Luke Cornett throws the hammer down. The Hornets still fighting in their oxidized copper unis. And Daquan Jeffries, don't look now, but the Hornets are taking it to the defending champs. Backups. Moussa Diabate gets the 2-hand slam. These 2 clips, it's just Pritchard going to work outside the arc. Back-to-back trays for Pritchard. He led Boston with 34 points, doing his best Jason Tatum impression there. Charlotte still battling off the back of Diabate. The 6'9 forward had 10 points on the night and really was kind of making Boston do some cardio there, but the last 2 minutes belonged to the Celtics. J.D. Davison, that's a tough layup, and Jordan Walsh puts this one to bed with one final tray. Boston wins this 93-86, and the Hornets are back to the drawing board on their rebuild. Cancun on 3.
Curry. Oh no, Clippers, Warriors, Harden, Curry, the stars are out in San Fran. First quarter, Jimmy frickin' Butler! He has the slam. In the second quarter, Kawhi Leonard inside to Ivica Zubac, who will lay it in. Final seconds of the first half, taken away. And it's going to be Stephen Curry, who will catch and shoot from distance. But can the Clippers respond? Norman Powell will hit this one off the window. It's 60-58 Clippers after the half. In the third quarter, Moses Moody, to Draymond Green for the lead. And in the fourth, LA up 4. Thank you for flying Derrick Jones Jr. Airlines! Steph, what are you doing? Get out of the way! But he'll be all right because Curry will respond with a 3. I like to call this the Steph Curry shot because it's a 3 only he can make. So 2 minutes left to go in the fourth. Curry will fire, you know it. We go to overtime. Another overtime game in this block. In the extra period, James Harden in the corner for the lead. He gets it to fall, and then Harden looking to do it again from the top of the key. Nothing but net. Curry will respond with the tray here. He knocks it down, but the Clippers end the game on a 7-2 run to get the 5th seed in the West. Warriors drop to 7 and the play-in. 124-119 in overtime, your final. Oh my.
You think it was Friday with all this overtime?
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, thank you.
Producer of that show in overtime with Gage Wellman, yes. All right, so, Maddox, you wanted to do something fun on this regular season edition finale of the NBA chat.
So the regular season's over. It was a fine ending. Warriors, Clippers was kind of the highlight, battling for play-in and playoff. It's a big deal. But now we shift our focus to the best of sevens. We're going to kind of skip the play-in as we are going to do some pre-playoff superlatives.
Let's go.
I want to start off. Everyone loves an underdog. Everyone loves some upsets. Who's your guys' dark horse of this playoffs?
I mean, it feels so weird to say that any team with Steph Curry on it is a dark horse, but I think the Warriors definitely have potential to be a dark horse. We're seeing Steph come alive, and we're going to witness the first Jimmy Butler playoff run with the Warriors. So I definitely think that they have the potential to do something interesting there, but that would be my pick for dark horse, Matt.
Where's my man Jacob Krause at? Okay, he's back there. For the past 3 weeks, all this man says in the newsroom, guys, the Clippers they could be a dark horse. And I agree, because when healthy, they can make a run. They can beat the Nuggets. I think they can make a run with OKC in the Western Conference semis. If they're at their best, they get it to 7, and they win. It's all about, again, staying hot in postseason play. And I think LA could shock some folks.
Yeah, very quickly, I got the guys out in the Motor City, Detroit Pistons making the playoffs for the first time in a minute. I think the Knicks are a little shaky, but moving on, we're going to actually go to kind of the opposite of this. Who's on upset watch? There's always a team that underperforms. Who do you have maybe getting bounced out a little earlier than we think?
At the risk of angering some people in here, considering what we just said, I think the Lakers might be on upset watch.
Tough.
Yeah, but I think possibly that the Lakers might not be able to bottle their regular season magic with the new addition of Luka. And although they had a really, an excellent last game, I don't quite know that they're going to be able to capitalize in the postseason.
Yeah, Matt, who you got?
I think the Houston Rockets, it's like clear and away, especially if they draw Golden State out of the plan. And based on one word, inexperience.
Yep.
This is a very young team, and I think their time will come. But right now, if we're calling an upset watch round 1, it's the team out of Texas.
Yeah, I'd have to agree completely. I think a lot of Rockets fans will get some 2018 PTSD if they draw the Warriors, watching Curry just do things that they don't want to see. They're kind of the OKC Thunder of last year. I think a lot of people are looking at them. They're ahead of schedule, so I could see them maybe getting bounced. Who do we have at the end of the long sludge through the playoffs, could 7-game series and whatnot? Who's winning it all? Who's the finals matchup, first off?
Finals matchup. Cut to camera 1.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm sorry for what I'm about to say. It's the Celtics and the Thunder. And the Boston Celtics are going back-to-back. Next.
Okay, yeah, it's Celtics Thunder for me. Celtics
okay.
are going back-to-back.
thought that was
Not
gonna
only
be hot
that,
take.
but
Wow.
they need it out of anybody else
Really?
as well.
The
I think
Celtics
need it?
everyone's
No.
like, well, they got to do it. They're the best team. They got to go back-to-back.
Wow.
That comes with pressure, so now they got to execute.
I don't
know.
we're on different Twitter.
I got Celtics Thunder. First championship in franchise history, Oklahoma City
All right.
Thunder.
No.
Love it.
I think the future
story.
upcoming MVP is gonna win it all.
Maddox Miller, always a pleasure.
Of
Thanks
course.
for joining us.
Of course.
Well, after the break, we have our award-winning segments, Empowerment and Corrali Chaos. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money.
There's a place to share gossip about the office party fun, and a place to share the story you tell everyone. There's a place to share a laugh about when things went wrong, and a place to share the video of you dancing to your song. There's a place to share spare change, lunch, and your time. But we could all be better at sharing how we're feeling inside. 76% of employees have struggled with at least one issue that affected their mental health. When you share, you're not alone.
When you reach for your prescription medications, you trust that the medicine is going to do what it's supposed to do, make you feel better. That trust comes from knowing that teams of doctors, biologists, chemists, pharmacists, and other health scientists at the FDA are working tirelessly to protect the health of the American public by making careful, informed decisions about which new drugs to approve. Find the answers at fda.gov/drugs.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at Saved by...
Well, it happened. Paige Beckers was drafted first overall by the Dallas Wings, but the young star is already looking towards her first offseason as she inked a 3-year deal with Unrivaled, the offseason 3-on-3 league founded by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. Becker's first-year salary for the 10-week Unrivaled season will exceed what she would make in her 4 years of her WNBA rookie contract. As the first pick, she is set to earn $78,831 in her first year, according to the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement. After a spectacular first season, Unrivaled is looking to take the next step forward, making signing Beckers a priority, as well as pursuing Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark. Now, Unrivaled had toyed with the idea of expanding their league, but wanted to focus instead on what made the league so special, showcasing the W's best athletes to build a sustainable off-season playing environment. Now, the only question is, what club do you want to see Paige join?
All right, time to get chaotic. Well, we talked about it earlier in the show, the fact that Rory McIlroy won the Masters after 17 times trying to win at Augusta and him finally coming out on top. But it's not really more about that. It's also about the fact that he really showed as inspiration over the past week for everybody in terms of if they're feeling a little bit of pressure, because Rory really overcame not just that, but he also overcame the odds. The fact that he managed to win 3 majors in the span of 5 years-ish in his first 5 years in professional golf, but can never win the coveted green jacket, it was just only going to be a matter of time at that moment. But then, as time went on, there was the question of, is he going to pull it off? And then through, like we mentioned earlier in the show, a topsy-turvy Sunday, he managed to get it done. That collapse when he sunk that putt on the playoff hole was one of the more authentic moments in sports I think we'll ever see. And that shows as inspiration to people that are facing pressure like that in their everyday lives. And it really is a testament to, if you just stay the course and you never give up, amazing things will happen. That, might be the most chaotic thing in the best way possible this segment will ever see.
Wait, that's so beautiful.
Thanks.
That was wonderful.
Thanks. It's your read.
Thanks, Matt.
No,
God forbid I try to compliment him. Whoa.
I appreciate it. It's very kind.
We got a little ghostly there. Anyways, over the past week, several City Connect jerseys have been leaked online, and many fans are upset with a lot of the designs. So for tonight's end segment, we're going to find out what are the cast's favorite City Connect uniforms. Matt, would you like to start?
Sure. Again, not being. I really like the Guardians ones because that was the one that
Hoverism.
there is one uniform where people were like, you know what? I wish these were our home regular uniforms. I wish this was our regular logo. One team. It was the Guardians.
Yeah.
It's the main logo, nice, but a little plaid, a little bit old-fashioned. This one gives it a real spark.
You don't like the baseball, the G with wings?
It was nice the first year.
Okay.
But the flying G, I like the Guardian of Trek. That just stands there. Yeah. I like it. Liv, what say you?
Oh, they're going to clip that moment for the banquet. Anyways, I have two picks. So the first of which is the White Sox Southside jerseys. I know people say they look like pajamas. They look cool!
People say that?
They say they look like pajamas because they're black and white stripes, so they look like pajamas. I don't think they look like pajamas. But another favorite of mine has to be the Washington Nationals Cherry Blossom City Connect.
Yeah.
Bring them back!
I agree.
That's going to be my crash out. Bring them back! Before I get too ahead of myself. Rapid fire, let's go over to the couch. What say you guys?
Liv, you took both of mine.
Oh, that's
like I'm being dead serious.
Okay, well, do you have a different
My
taste for them?
third is I really like the Toronto Blue Jays black with like the blue text across the middle. I think that looks very clean. Yeah. Other than that, it was because the Nationals Cherry Blossoms were also in collaboration with the Wizards alternate uniforms. They look awesome. But yeah.
I got to go with the Houston Astros. I think they always have really nice City Connect uniforms. Yeah, okay. If that's a hot take, I don't really care because I think Space City is such a cool brand, and regardless of whether or not it ends up being the best one or a fan favorite, I would still rather have those ones over the White Sox. Oh, sorry, Liv.
Southside ones are cool.
Lexi?
I like Detroit's for the same reason Matt likes the Guards. I just really like the simplicity of it. People are like, no, for a City Connect, it has to be avant-garde. I just like the tire stripe. That's the one reason I like it. It's silly, but whatever.
No, I think it's cool.
Thank you.
I definitely like that one. The reason I kind of started this is we had an interesting discussion about the Colorado Rockies randomly neon purple, orange, and pink jerseys, and all of us being very confused as to why they looked more like Utah Jazz jerseys than Colorado Rockies jerseys.
Don't the Giants have something like that?
They do, yeah. They also the neon colors are starting to come in this season, and I'm not a super big fan of it. I like
Fashion
classic.
Police, Sportscorner. We are the fashion police. Yeah, no, I agree.
Well, that'll do it for this edition of Sports Corner. Thank you so much for watching.
For updates from us 24/7, head over to KentStater.com and be sure to tune into Overtime right here every Friday at 7 p.m. I'm Matt Corrali.
And I'm Liv Sharp, saying wherever the ball flies in the air, the Kent Stater Sports Network will be there. Good night.
How can you hate Star Wars?
Kung Fu Panda.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Here for a late night walk.
Yes.
Night walks around
Oh my
campus.
gosh.
Not
I
bad.
always, like the swing.
Student Center.
What?
Wait, care, you mean like healthcare?
Cares Center.
Student Center.
Where you can get support.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Come on. Go, Diane. Yeah, keep it going. Yeah. Go, honey.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.